PDF files are not all created equally. Some are intended for the screen, some are designed for high-end output on the printing press, and some are meant to archive important information for legal or historical reference. In the upcoming section, we'll explore a variety of methods for creating PDF documents and learn the pros and cons of output quality versus file size. When you're done with this chapter, you should be able to select the most appropriate method for creating a PDF document to meet your specific needs. Throughout this chapter, some features may not be available to Mac users. Feature availability may also vary depending on what version of Word you have. In Windows, when Acrobat is installed, a print driver is added to your existing printer configuration. This print driver is available to all Windows applications that can print. This method was available to Macintosh users too until the release of Snow Leopard. Changes to certain aspects of OS X now prevent you from using this print method, so drivers are no longer installed. Instead, Mac users have to save to the PDF format instead of print to it. In this lesson, we'll create a PDF file by printing from a word processor. You can use Word or WordPad. To launch WordPad, click the Start menu, choose the All Programs option, and then select WordPad from the accessories list. Since Mac users can't do this any longer, just sit back and watch. Open the file, print the PDF from the Chapter 3 folder. While printing to the PDF format is one of the oldest and most popular methods, printing brings with it certain advantages and disadvantages. PDF files created by other means can support layers, video, audio, hyperlinks, and all sorts of interactive content. The print driver doesn't pass any of this information into the PDF file. You can add it later, but the file starts off flat. Because printed PDF files do not automatically contain this information, they are usually much smaller in size than PDF files created by other means. Often, this difference may be by multiple factors. One of the disadvantages of printing to a PDF file may occur when you work with high-end printing functions like transparency and drop shadows. Since a printed PDF file is flat, the pre-press department at your printer or service bureau may not be able to correct any errors within the file when you go to create plates. But for a host of general applications, a printed PDF file will work just fine. To convert this file to PDF format by printing, select the Print command from the File menu. Or you can press Ctrl-P in most programs. Next, you should select the PDF print driver from the Select Printers window. To use the default printer settings, just click the Print button now. To modify the output, click the Preferences button here. In the Print Preferences dialog box, you won't be able to access or include any of the interactive features for PDF documents, only the print-based settings. From this menu, you can select the PDF standard you wish to output to, such as high-quality print or smallest file size, or one of the PDF A or X formats. You can also modify the default settings by clicking the Edit button here. Later in this chapter, we'll explore the various PDF settings and show you how to modify them. For this lesson, click Cancel to keep the defaults. This option here will allow you to choose what kind of security you want to add to the file. Select None to use no security. Here you can choose to be prompted for a file name. Select this option to automatically use the document's name with a .pdf file extension. Remember, when you select this option, no dialog box will appear to prompt you for a file name. If you want the PDF file saved to a specific folder, click the Browse button now and select the folder you wish to save the files to. Unlike other methods, when you print to the PDF format, you are responsible for selecting the appropriate page size for your document. This is one of the disadvantages of printing the PDF. The print function won't automatically make accommodations for documents that contain different sized pages and/or orientations. Larger pages or landscape pages will end up being cut off. If you do have different sized pages or orientations in a document, print these pages individually after you select the appropriate page size here. Choose this option to view the PDF file once it's finished. The next option is kind of confusing. If you select it, document metadata is added to the finished file. The only problem is the metadata it adds doesn't contain any of the existing document's information, like author, title, subject, and so on. That means if you want specific document information in each PDF file, whether this option is checked or not, you'll have to manually add it later in Acrobat, so you might as well leave it unchecked. Checking this option forces the PDF printer to use only the fonts installed on your system or already embedded in the document itself. Each time a PDF file is generated, a log file is produced that records what happened during the process. This is handy if you encounter any errors. But once that PDF file is created, there's no need for the log file anymore. This option deletes the log file if the PDF file was created successfully. Finally, if you choose to name your files automatically over here, check this option if you want to be notified if you're replacing a PDF file of the same name. Since no dialog box is going to open to prompt you for a file name, you won't know when an existing PDF file is replaced. I usually like to be prompted for the file name, so I'm going to go ahead and switch it back to prompt for the Adobe PDF file name. This allows you to change the name or change the location each time you create a PDF file. Now you can click OK to retain your changes or click Cancel to discard them. When you've made all your selections, go ahead and click Print to create the PDF file. Check to see if you're printing into the Chapter 3 folder. Check the name and then click Save. Depending on how large the file is and its contents, your PDF file will appear in a few moments. Printing to the PDF format is not usually my first choice, but it does have some advantages, primarily by making smaller, more compact PDF files. And in some programs, it may be the only way to save the contents as a PDF document. You may not be aware of this, but several years ago, Adobe released the specifications for the PDF format. It's now an open standard. Because of this, many programs have built-in features for saving to the PDF format. Since this feature is built-in, you have to be aware that it doesn't use Acrobat's own PDF engine. The resulting PDF file may not be the same quality or offer the same options you can access using Acrobat itself or Acrobat Distiller. The main advantage to using this option is speed and convenience. It's also the only option for those who don't have Acrobat installed in their systems. You can find this feature in most high-end programs like Microsoft Word and WordPerfect. For the purposes of this lesson, it would be impossible to cover all the variations in program-specific features for saving PDF files, so we're not going to try. But don't be afraid to poke around in whatever programs you do use to see what you can do and what functionality is provided. Remember, saving to a PDF format is fundamentally different than printing to it. Saving usually produces a richer file format that can preserve certain types of content like hyperlinks, bookmarks, and document-related metadata. So if my choice is using the PDF print driver or the native Save As function, I'll usually weigh the decision by what I want included in the PDF file when it's created. If you have Microsoft Word, go ahead and launch it now and open up the file, save as pdf.doc from the Chapter 3 folder. The native PDF command can be found, logically enough, under the Save As command under the File menu. When Word Save As dialog box appears, go ahead and select PDF from the Save As Type pop-up menu. The dialog will then display specific options for the PDF format. The first thing you'll notice is that Word provides only two options for creating PDF files: Standard for publishing online and printing, and Minimum Size for creating the smallest file size. To access more specifications, click the Options button here. A dialog box will open and give you a little bit more control over the creation of the PDF file. For example, you can choose to print all the pages, the current page, selected text, or a range of pages. You can publish only the document, or also include custom markup. Word can also create bookmarks from text styled as headings in the content, or by using bookmarks created using Word's own feature. Word can even pass some of the document's custom metadata to the PDF file, such as document properties like title, author, subject, and so on, as well as accessibility tags. Word can even go so far as to create an ISO-compatible PDF-A or archive-quality PDF file. It can bitmap the fonts to preserve the look of the document if fonts can't be embedded. and it can also include a password. These last two options will not be available as long as the ISO-compatible PDF-A option is selected. Now you can click OK to keep your settings, or click Cancel to discard them and use the defaults. Let's go ahead and use the default settings. As you can see, Word doesn't offer a lot of customization for its PDF files. But for users who don't have Acrobat installed, it may be your only option for creating a usable PDF file. Luckily, if you do have Acrobat installed, Adobe automatically includes the PDF Maker, which allows you full access to Acrobat's own PDF engine and gives you many more options to create these files. We'll show you how to use the PDF Maker later on in this training. Click this option to view the file after it's created, and click Save. And there you have it, a PDF file using Word's own built-in features. Most of the time, you will create PDF documents from specific originating applications like Microsoft Word or Excel, InDesign, Illustrator, or Photoshop. Many of these applications have built-in features to create PDF documents, or you can use the PDF print driver installed in Windows. But Acrobat can also create PDF files all by itself from a variety of standard non-proprietary file formats like TIFF, JPEG, text, and even HTML. To convert one of these file types to the PDF format, select the Create button and choose PDF from File. On the Macintosh, you won't see your toolbar when you don't have a PDF file open, so you could always click Create PDF here in the Start window, or choose File, Create, PDF from File here. To see all the file formats supported by Acrobat, open this menu at the bottom of the dialog box. Here you see a list of all the file formats that Acrobat can convert. Some of the formats, like Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Excel, can only be converted if you have those programs installed on your system. Choose All Supported Formats to convert any of these file formats. Navigate to the Chapter 3 folder and select the file descriptions.txt. The TXT extension indicates that the file is a plain text file. To convert this one file alone, you can go ahead and click the Open button now. But you can also create multiple PDF files at once. Just hold the Shift key and click another file in the list to select consecutive files, like this, or hold the Control key or the Command key on the Macintosh to select multiple non-consecutive files. Go ahead and select descriptions.txt, label.jpg, logo.png, and wine.tiff. Click Open. After a few moments, Acrobat will create PDF versions of each of the selected files. To create a PDF document from a Word file, click the Create button and choose PDF from File. If necessary, navigate to the Chapter 3 folder and select Create from Word.doc and click Open. This time, Acrobat doesn't convert the file itself. It launches Word in the background and uses the best available method for converting the file. When it's finished, the file will appear in the document window. As you can see, you don't always have to open a document in an originating program to create a PDF document. Sometimes, creating a PDF file is only a click away. Lots of users have paper-based documents that they want to share with others, but want to save the time and expense of having them copied and shipped around the country. Faxing can be one solution, but the fax document is still in paper form and difficult to store and reuse. You could scan the documents and store them and send them electronically, but it's difficult to know what format to use and whether your recipients will be able to open them when they receive it. And what do you do with multi-page documents? That's where you can combine your scanner with Acrobat to solve all your problems at once. Acrobat allows you to scan multi-page documents and store them all in the PDF format that can be opened by any version of Acrobat, even the free reader. The first step is to connect your scanner to your computer and install the necessary drivers and software. For most scanners available today, this is an automated process that will allow you to start scanning almost immediately. Once the scanner is attached and working, load the first page of the document in the scanner. Then click Create PDF from Scanner. In the flyout menu, choose the type of document you're scanning. If you're not sure, go ahead and select Auto Detect Color Mode. Choose Black and White Document for text-only documents or pen and ink drawings. Choose Grayscale for documents with black and white photographs. Choose Color Document or Color Image for documents that use color in text or graphics that you wish to preserve. If the color of the document is not vital, you may want to use the Grayscale setting. Scanning color can produce documents far larger than those scanned in Grayscale. Choose Custom Scan if you want to make specific settings before the scanning begins. And if you want to configure these presets, you can go ahead and click Configure Presets. In this dialog, you can choose the specific scanner and the specific preset and adjust all the settings within that preset, including whether it scans both sides, what color mode it selects, the default resolution, even the paper size. You can select how Acrobat optimizes the document, whether it favors a smaller file size or higher quality, whether it performs OCR automatically, or whether it creates an archive quality PDF immediately. Click Save to save the changes to the preset, or click Close to keep the default settings. I've loaded a black and white document in my scanner, so I'm going to go ahead and choose PDF from Scanner, Black and White Document. When you choose one of the presets, Acrobat will initialize the scanner automatically and begin scanning the first page. Once you choose the preset, several things will happen once the process begins. Acrobat scans and analyzes the page, optimizing the resulting scan, and then it will automatically perform OCR, or Optical Character Recognition. OCR turns text, which is basically a bunch of pixels, into searchable text that will allow you to copy and paste the text into another document or even another program. When the first page is finished, Acrobat will then prompt you with this dialog box to complete the scan, scan another page, or scan the backside of the current page. I've loaded page 2 into the scanner, so I'm going to choose Scan More Pages and click OK. Now that Acrobat has finished scanning the second page, I'll click Scan as Complete and click OK. Acrobat has created a page in the PDF for each of the scanned pages and transfers all the data into the new PDF document. If you select your text tool, you'll also notice that the text that has been scanned has been converted to selectable text using OCR. If you zoom into the text, you can see that the text is basically a bunch of pixels. Yet by performing OCR, we'll be able to select the text and copy and paste it into another program, or search for specific content using the Find command. As you can see, you can interact with a PDF document made from a scanner in a similar fashion to one made any other way. The main difference is that the file, since it is composed mainly of scanned images, will usually be significantly larger than a PDF made from a word processor or other electronic file format. Also, the quality of the text and graphics is directly related to the original quality of the scanned documents and the capability of the scanner itself. When you scan documents directly in Acrobat, OCR is performed automatically on each document. Some users don't have their own scanner, or they receive documents from others that are already scanned. Don't let that stop you from getting the most out of these documents too by saving them as PDF files and then performing OCR on them manually. To get the most accurate conversion, make sure your documents are scanned at least 300 pixels per inch. The next step is to convert the scanned image into a PDF document. Select Create PDF from File, or if you can't see the toolbars on the Macintosh, choose File, Create, PDF from File here. Navigate to the Chapter 3 folder and select ocrtext.tiff. This document was scanned from a printed file, and Acrobat will convert it into a PDF file and open it in the document window. If you click the Text Selection tool, you'll notice that this text is currently unselectable. That's because in this file, it's still only an image. Before you'll be able to search or select the text, you'll have to perform OCR, or Optical Character Recognition, on it. OCR is a software application built into Acrobat that can convert scanned documents into fully searchable and accessible text. When it's done, you should be able to find keywords and phrases, and even copy and paste the text into other applications. OCR is not perfect. The quality of the conversion depends on several factors, including the quality of the original document, the scanner, and even the specific settings used. Errors can be caused even by placing the page a little cockeyed on the scanner. To begin OCR, select View, Tools, Recognize Text. When the Recognize Text panel opens, click in this file to access the OCR controls. Click OK in this dialog box to use the default settings, or click Edit to change the defaults. In the General Settings dialog box, you can select the language of the scanned text, and then choose how the background document image is processed in your finished file. Searchable Image places a searchable text layer over the background image and then downsamples that image to reduce its size. Searchable Image Exact places a searchable text layer over the image but preserves the image at its current resolution. This option will make the PDF file larger, but allows you to print the file more closely to match the original document. ClearScan uses a Type 3 font to synthesize a close copy of the original text and then preserves the page image as a low-resolution background. Your best results will probably be with the first option. Downsampling converts the background image quality to a resolution lower than the original quality. This option is used mainly to reduce the overall size of the PDF file. But be careful. If you choose too low a resolution, the scanned document may become unrecognizable. If you want to preserve the best quality for printing, don't go lower than 150 dpi. Click OK to preserve your changes or Cancel to discard them. Now you're ready to conduct OCR. Click OK to begin. The amount of time it takes to complete the OCR depends on several factors, including the number of pages, the amount of text on each page, the fonts used, and the quality of the scan itself. But don't expect a perfect conversion every time. In fact, if you think the conversion may have committed errors in the final text, select the option Find All Suspects to highlight words that Acrobat itself thinks may have been converted incorrectly. To correct the errors, click Find First Suspect, and this dialog box opens. It displays the image overlaid by the converted text. If you see that the word is incorrectly identified, you can click on the screen in the highlighted area and type the correct word here. Otherwise, click the button Accept and Find to go to the next suspect. Other options include choosing Not Text if a graphical element was converted into text. If you notice that the suspects all seem to be okay, you can close the dialog box and click the Find All Suspects button again to remove the highlighting. One of the biggest advantages of OCR is that the converted text is fully searchable. Just choose the Find command under the Edit menu. Type a term in the search window and press Return to find the first instance of that word. You can also use the Text Selection tool to select the text, copy it, and paste it into another application like Word or WordPad. Try doing that with a fax. But best of all, your new, fully searchable PDF file can be saved on your hard drive or sent out to friends and colleagues in a form that's way more usable than any paper document. There are many ways to create PDF files. You can print a PDF, save the PDF. You can even use Acrobat itself to create PDF files from standard formats. And finally, let's not forget Acrobat Distiller. Distiller is a standalone application that creates PDF files automatically in the background. It's been around from the very beginning of Adobe Acrobat, and it was the original method for creating PDF documents. It's not as popular as it once was because Distiller is strictly geared toward print-based workflows. It doesn't support Acrobat's many interactive features and won't preserve hyperlinks, audio and video, or layered document content. As more and more PDF documents started to use this type of content, Distiller quickly lost its prime position as the go-to PDF creator. But for users who still produce PDF files in print-based workflows, Distiller can still provide a valuable service. It's especially handy in environments where lots of workers need to create PDF files, but may not have the training to produce the desired output. An experienced user can actually set up one distiller application to create PDF files for an entire office, even if none of the workers have Acrobat installed on their own computers. Here's how it works. Launch Distiller by clicking on its icon. You can usually find it in the same place where you'll find the Acrobat 10 icon. When it starts, you may be a little confused at first. Distiller doesn't look like much. Its interface is nothing like Acrobat's. Basically, it's a PDF processor. It takes a specific type of data and converts it into a PDF file. The type of data it uses is pure PostScript, a page description language. PostScript can be created from most applications by using the print dialog, which we'll do in a few minutes. Other programs like Adobe Illustrator, InDesign, and Photoshop can also save documents as encapsulated PostScript or EPS files. If you create the PostScript file in advance, you can load it manually into Distiller by selecting Open from the File menu. A better way is to create a folder that Distiller watches and then drop in the PostScript file, or you can print directly into the folder. To set up a folder, select Watch Folders from the Settings menu. Then click Add Folder and navigate to the Chapter 3 directory. When you click OK, Distiller will create an in and an out folder in the selected directory. You can set up multiple watch folders in Distiller, and each folder can be set to create different types of PDF files. For example, one folder could be set to create small PDF files for the web, while another could create high-quality files for printing or prepress. To specify what type of PDF files the folder will create, make sure the folder is selected within the Path window, and then select Load Settings. Choose the type of PDF file you desire and click Load. To edit the specifications in the preset, click Edit Settings. Later in this chapter, we'll discuss what these specifications do and how to change them. Click Cancel to use the default settings. Based on these settings, as long as Distiller is running, it will monitor the watch folder every 10 seconds. By default, Distiller will move the PostScript file from the in to the out folder once it's been converted. Choose this option if you want the file deleted instead. Click OK to apply your settings and return to Distiller's home screen. Now the program is ready and waiting for a PostScript or EPS file to convert. The home screen also features a default settings menu where you can select the type of PDF that will be created in any of the watch folders that don't have specific settings loaded. While Adobe Creative Suite applications like InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop have built-in features to create PostScript files, most of the other programs on your computer will require the help of a PostScript printer driver. If you don't already have a PostScript printer installed on your computer, you'll need to install a PostScript printer driver first. You can do this in the Control panel or under Devices and Printers. Then, to create a PostScript file for Distiller, launch Word and open the file distiller.doc from the Chapter 3 folder. Then select Print from the File menu. Select a PostScript printer from your list of printers. You'll know it's a PostScript printer by the letters PS in the name of the printer. Once the printer is selected, choose Print to File from the printer's drop-down menu and click the Print button. A dialog box will appear so you can name the print file and select the folder to save it in. Navigate to the In folder in the Chapter 3 directory and name the file Press Release. When you click OK, Word will add the extension PRN automatically to the name of the file. This extension is OK for Distiller as long as the contents of the file is PostScript. To watch the magic, switch back to Distiller. In a few seconds, you'll see the progress window activate as Distiller reads the file and begins to convert it to the PDF format. A temperature bar indicates the progress, and the progress window will report the success or failure of the conversion. If the file is converted successfully, the name of the file will be displayed in the window. To view it in Acrobat, double-click on it. The file will open in Acrobat, and that's it. Remember, Distiller can convert any PostScript file from any computer. So that means you could create PDF files for everyone in your office by running a single copy of Distiller and watching folders on your server. Take it one step further, and you could set up multiple folders where each one creates a different type of PDF file. Earlier in this chapter, we created multiple PDF files from individual images and documents stored on the computer. Each source file created an individual PDF document. Sending all these files to someone by email or another means could be dangerous. Individual files can get lost or separated. Sometimes it's better to create a single PDF file from multiple source documents. One file to store all the contents, one file to distribute. If the source files are already PDF files, it's easy to compile them into a single document using the Insert command in the Pages panel. Or you can put them all together in a PDF portfolio. We're going to explore both methods later in the training, but for this lesson I'd like to show you how to assemble multiple source files into a single PDF document. Click the Create button and choose Combine Files into a Single PDF. On the Macintosh, if you don't see your toolbar, you can also choose File, Create, Combine Files into a Single PDF. A dialog box appears that allows you to create a list of files to merge into a single PDF. To begin, click the Add Files button here. Click Add Files to select individual files to add to the conversion list. You can even select existing PDF files. Click Add Folders to include entire folders of content. Click Add PDF from Scanner to scan files directly into the PDF. Click Add Web Page to convert HTML files from the Internet. Click Add from Clipboard to convert the contents of your Mac or Windows clipboard into the PDF. Choose Add Email to add selected emails from your default mail application. Click Reuse Files to select files from previous conversions. And you can also click Add Open Files to add any PDF files that are currently open in the document window. Click Add Files to select some files from the Chapter 3 folder. If you hold the Control key in Windows or the Command key in the Macintosh, you can select non-consecutive files. Choose Create from Word.doc, Descriptions.txt, Label.jpg, Logo.png, Webpage.html, and finally Wine.tiff. Click Open to add all these to the conversion list. If you wish to add more files, you can return to the Add Files button and continue to add files to this list. Once you're done adding files, these buttons at the bottom of the dialog box will allow you to control the order the documents will appear in the final PDF file. Just select a file in the list, and then click this button to move it up in the list, or this button to move it down in the list. If a file in the selected list contains multiple pages, this button will allow you to choose which pages within the selected file to include in the PDF document. If you include a file unintentionally, click this button to remove it from the list altogether. You can also select the type of output you desire by clicking one of these three icons. This one to create a smaller file, good for viewing on the screen. This one for the default file size, which is still good for viewing on the screen, but is more appropriate for laser and inkjet printing. And this one for a larger file, good for high-quality printing. Other options can be selected by clicking on this button here. These options affect some basic attributes in the PDF file. For example, you can enable accessibility and reflow in all the included files. You can add bookmarks automatically. You can continue the conversion even if one or more of the selected files cause errors. And you can decide to convert all the selected files to PDF format even if you've selected the portfolio option. That's an important selection because portfolios can contain non-PDF file types too. Click OK to keep your choices, or Cancel to keep the defaults. To complete the process, click the Combine button now. Acrobat will now create the PDF file. To make the final PDF file, Acrobat can convert many standard file formats itself, and if necessary, it will launch applications like Word or Excel or even InDesign in the background to convert in proprietary formats too. The amount of time it takes to create the document depends on a number of factors, including the number of files, the type of files, and their size and complexity. When the conversion is completed, the PDF file will open in the document window. All the source files will be included unless one or more of them errors out during the conversion. If a file doesn't get converted, you can always convert it individually and add it to the file manually later. PDF Portfolios is a relatively new feature in Acrobat. It was added to version 9. It was such a different type of feature that many people haven't taken full advantage of it yet. And that's too bad, because PDF Portfolios provide an unbelievable capability to supply both PDF and other file types to colleagues and customers alike. It's not just another way to merge multiple files together. It pushes the PDF standard to the next level, a paradigm shift. Before Acrobat 9, if you wanted to send someone more than one document, you created multiple PDF files and attached them all to one email, or burned them to a disk and sent them off. Or you merged multiple PDF files into one giant PDF document. Earlier in this chapter, we learned both techniques. We explored how to create individual PDF files, as well as how to merge multiple PDF and other source files to create a single PDF document. But both practices have serious disadvantages. Managing multiple individual PDF files is both awkward and inefficient. Separate files can get deleted or misplaced, but merging all the files into one PDF document is not an ideal solution either. That's because merged files are rendered to a single quality standard. They support only a single level of security, and they must be converted entirely to the PDF format. On the other hand, PDF Portfolios can store multiple files in any format, at any quality, and can support multiple levels of security. In fact, each file in a portfolio can have a unique password or security policy. To assemble a PDF portfolio, click the Create button and select PDF Portfolio. Or, if you don't see your toolbar, you can select File, Create, PDF Portfolio. This dialog box appears starting the process, allowing you to select one of the 5 provided layouts. Adobe has improved the Portfolios feature, making it easier to customize and create your own layouts. You'll be able to build additional layouts using Flash or purchase them from third-party developers. Select one of the default layouts. When you click on the button, the window previews the design of the individual layout. Or you can import your own by clicking this button here. Let's start off by selecting the click-through layout. The next step is to add some files. Click the Add Files button here. Your first shot at adding files is limited to individual files, but don't worry, you'll get a chance to add more in a second. To add files consecutively, hold the Shift key and select them like this. To add non-consecutive files, hold the Control key in Windows or the Command key in the Macintosh and select the files like this. You can select pretty much any type of file on your computer to add to a portfolio. Unlike other methods we've already explored, when you select a non-PDF file, the entire file is embedded within the portfolio. It's not converted to the PDF format. The file retains all of its original formatting and structure. In a way, adding files to a portfolio is like adding attachments to a PDF file. The main difference is that these files are a visible and integral component to the portfolio. Display the contents of the Chapter 3 folder as a list and order the list alphabetically in ascending order. Let's select Add and Add Master, Brochure and Brochure Master, Logo and Logo Master, and Presentation and Presentation Master. When your selection is complete, click Open. After you click Open, the portfolio interface will appear. The amount of time it takes to add your files will depend on how many files you selected, the size of the files, and their complexity. Within this interface, you can continue to add more files to your portfolio. Click the Add Files button here to select individual files. Click Add Folder to include the contents of entire directories. Click Add Web Content to insert pages from the internet. And click Create Folder to create a subfolder within the portfolio if you want to group some of your content together. Let's say we want to put all the master pages into a folder of their own. Click the Create Folder button, type the name Masters into the window and click OK. A folder will appear in the interface, and then it's easy to drag your files into the new folder like this. As you add files, thumbnails appear in the workspace. If your computer can identify the program that created or that can edit the file, you will see the program icon displayed in the thumbnail window like this. You should be aware that some thumbnails will display differently on the Macintosh than they do in Windows. For some standard files like TIFF, JPEG, and GIF, both platforms will provide a preview of the file contents. For PDF documents, like this one, you'll be able to view all the pages of the file by clicking on these navigation arrows. Other proprietary formats will appear in the interface with a generic page icon, like this one. If you're following along on the Mac, you may actually be seeing previews of Adobe Illustrator and Photoshop files right now. Unfortunately, in Windows, these files display generic page icons like this one. Once you're done adding files, the contents may appear organized by name, creation date, or some other criterion. We'll look at how you can customize the contents, order, and appearance of your portfolio in the next lesson. If you include a file unintentionally, or you no longer want it in the portfolio, click on the trash can icon in the file thumbnail here. This will remove it from the portfolio, but it doesn't delete the original file from your hard drive. To see what your portfolio looks like to the recipient, click the Preview button at the top of the document window. Now you can interact with the file like a normal user. To display a specific file, click on one of the thumbnails here. Double-click on the thumbnail, and Acrobat will give you a closer look at the selected file. You can then navigate within the file by clicking these arrows, or you can jump to the next file in the list by clicking here, or to the previous file by clicking here. To open the document, click Open File at the upper right-hand corner. To return to the portfolio, click the X icon at the top right of the thumbnail. At this point, you're ready to save the portfolio. Click Save Portfolio in the File menu, or press Ctrl-S in Windows or Command-S on the Macintosh. Name the file My Portfolio. And click Save. Acrobat automatically adds the PDF extension. On the surface, there's no distinction between a normal file and a portfolio until you open it. Many of the features of Acrobat 10 portfolios are supported only by Acrobat 10 and Reader 10. If a user opens the file in a different version, they will not receive the full portfolio experience. In Acrobat 9, the animation and other features will be disabled. In earlier versions, they will see this cover sheet that prompts them to download the latest version. They will still be able to open the portfolio if they want to, but they will see only a list of attached files. Portfolios allow you to better shape the experience a user receives when opening your PDF files, providing a single venue or stage to your presentations, reports, and support materials. With the ability to include all the necessary files in one container, you can deliver the information you need to deliver with a lot more control and certainty. A portfolio won't always be the best choice for every purpose. Before you decide whether to use a PDF portfolio or merge several files into a single PDF document, review the needs and goals of your workflow and then choose the best option. If you're proceeding to the next lesson, keep this portfolio open to learn how to customize its look and performance. In the previous lesson, we learned how to create and work with a PDF portfolio. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to customize various aspects of the portfolio. If you don't have the portfolio still open, go ahead and open myportfolio.pdf from the Chapter 3 folder. If you worked on the file recently, it will appear in the Recent Files list in the Welcome screen. Just click on the name to open it. If you don't have this file at all, go ahead and perform the previous lesson and then come back when you're finished. Or just sit back and watch. The first aspect we'll examine is the overall design. When we created the portfolio, we applied the click-through layout. To change this layout, start by clicking the Edit button to access the portfolio interface. Then select one of the alternate layouts here. In a few moments, the layout will change to the new design. In addition to changing the layout, you can apply custom visual themes too. Access the visual themes from this menu. Experiment by mixing and matching the visual themes with different layouts. You can also edit the colors within each theme and create your own variations. Select one of the 5 default palettes, or create your own by clicking this button here. As you can see, each color in the palette is assigned a different purpose. Click Save to keep the changes, or Cancel to return to the defaults. If you want, you can also adjust the background of your portfolio. You can adjust the linear gradient, or select a solid fill, or you can choose a background image. Select background.jpg from the Chapter 3 folder. In this panel, you can adjust how the image will be displayed and its opacity. You can even blur the image. Let's leave the blur at 0. Once you finalize the design, you can then customize the contents of your portfolio. The documents appear in the portfolio as you add them. At first, the order may appear a bit arbitrary, but don't worry, you can control this order in several ways. At first, the order may be based alphabetically on the file name of the document. If you want the files arranged in a different order, the simplest way is just to drag them to the position you want them right here in the layout like this. To get more control over how the files are arranged, click the Details tab here. Each file inserted in the portfolio is assigned up to 9 properties by default, which are displayed here, including name, display name, description, and so on. You can turn the columns on and off by clicking these checkboxes. You can also add your own. In fact, the order column was actually created by Acrobat when I dragged the files around in the layout just now. When Acrobat creates the order, the numbers are not editable. But if you prefer to set your own order, you can delete this existing column like this, and then create your own by clicking here. Let's name the new column Order as well. And let's make it a number column. Click the plus sign to add it. This time, you can type your own numbers in. For this exercise, let's just enter the numbers randomly. To use these numbers to order the contents of your file, choose the Order column from the initial Sort menu. You can click the column header to switch from ascending to descending order. To change the existing order, just change the numbers here. And click the column header again. Each file in the layout features a display name. As you can see, at first the display names are the same as the file names, but you can change either or both to make them more descriptive. Any change made here is also reflected in the layout. If you change the file name, be careful to include the correct extension, or the file may not open properly. Let's change some of the display names to better reflect the content. Let's call Add Full Page Ad. Logo, Vini Totali logo. And brochure, wine brochure. Extensions are not needed in the display names. If the names are not distinctive enough, you can also add full descriptions of each file here. Let's take a look at our changes now in the layout. See how the thumbnails now feature our new display names? Another way to customize your portfolio is by adding text to the header of the file. You can access the header by clicking on it here in the layout view. You can select from some default designs here, or choose to create your own by clicking Add Image or Add Text. Let's go ahead and add some text. Double-click in the text box now to add your text. Let's add the name of the company, Vini Totali Wines. To format the text, swipe over it, and choose the font. You may not have the same fonts as me, so feel free to choose any font you like. And the size. If the text doesn't fit, you can adjust the size of the box by grabbing these handles here. And you can also position the text in the window. To finish customizing the portfolio, click the Preview button now. You can see how a user will interact with your new design in the Layout view, or view the files in List view by clicking the Files button. In Preview mode, the names of the files, their display names and descriptions are not editable. Later in the training, I'll show you how to password protect your PDF files and portfolios to prevent other people from modifying their contents or structure. But for the moment, this portfolio is ready to go. Just save the changes and send it out. In this chapter, we've explored a variety of methods for creating PDF documents. We've printed the PDF, saved the PDF. We've even used Acrobat itself to create PDF documents from a host of standard file formats. Not to mention PDF portfolios, which can contain even non-PDF formatted materials. The last method we're going to take a look at is the ability to create a PDF file from the web. There are lots of reasons to create PDF documents from the web. For example, it's a great way to mark up pages, to review changes, and to send your comments to your web designer. You can capture an entire website and send it to people to view offline, or to people who don't have an internet connection. Or simply use it to archive the contents of your site. You don't have to use this feature to capture a website. Since most browsers can also print web pages, you could create a PDF file by printing your website one page at a time. But Acrobat's web capture goes much farther than that. Printing a web page may reproduce its look, but it won't reproduce the basic nature of the web, its interactivity. Capturing web content actually preserves much of its dynamic nature. To start the process, click the Create button and choose Create PDF from Web Page. Or you can choose the same command from the Create button under the File menu. The Create PDF from Web Page dialog box will appear. Enter the name of the website or web page you wish to capture here, or copy and paste the URL from your browser. You can use any site you like. I just happen to be on this one. To use the default settings, just click the Create button. Typically, the default settings will capture the individual page targeted or one level of the selected website. To capture more than one level of the website, select the number of levels here. A level is basically any page directly linked to the current page. Let's say you're targeting the home page of your website and it had 5 hyperlinks on that page. If you choose 2 levels like this, Acrobat would capture the home page plus all 5 of the linked pages. To save time, let's get only one level of this website. Other options can be specified here. You can tell Acrobat to automatically create bookmarks, headers and footers, and PDF tags. You can also set the default page size and margins of the PDF. Click OK to apply your changes, or Cancel to keep the defaults. If you click Stay on the same path, Acrobat will only capture the website using the current URL and won't capture any pages that are not on this particular website. Staying on the same server prevents Acrobat from downloading pages from different servers, even if they're from the same website. When you're ready, click Create. Acrobat begins downloading and converting the web-based content. The amount of time it takes to finish depends on the design of the website and how many levels you chose to capture. Some captures will be better than others. Certain types of content like rollover effects, movies, and animation may be missing or static. Longer pages may be split between two pages like this one. To view the captured web page at the best quality, typically it's best to choose 100%. As you can see, Acrobat preserved the look and feel of this web page, even down to the hyperlinks. Each of the hyperlinks is still an active link. When you click a hyperlink, Acrobat may prompt you to open the link in a web browser or download the new page into Acrobat itself. You can then choose to allow the action, block it, or you can cancel and return back to the document. If you try to print the PDF, be aware that most web content is formatted for no more than 72 pixels per inch and may appear blurry when printed. Acrobat won't take the place of your browser, but it can serve an important role in the project review and archival storage. Try it out today on your favorite websites. PDF documents are not all created equally. Some are designed for print, some for the screen, some are static, while others contain all sorts of dynamic content. The differences start at the moment a PDF file is created. We learned earlier in this chapter that printing to the PDF format automatically flattens the resulting file, removing or disabling any dynamic content. But not all printed PDF files are the same either. Some are designed for high quality output on printing press, while others are destined only for the personal laser or inkjet printer. Screen-based PDF documents may never be printed. They may contain video, audio, or flash animation. Images may be resampled to reduce the file's overall size. Screen-based PDF documents are usually delivered electronically, via email, the web, or by CD or DVD. When Acrobat is installed, PDF presets are copied to your computer too. These presets provide the basic settings to produce specific types of PDF files. The presets won't be perfect for every situation, but they're a good starting point. Typically, you'll select the preset when you're ready to print or save to the PDF format. The dialog boxes or interfaces may appear differently in each application, but the basic settings and options are the same. In Windows, you can access the presets from the PDF printer preferences in any print dialog. But to allow the Mac users to follow along in this lesson, we'll access the presets from Acrobat Distiller. Distiller will also provide the ability to add and remove presets that you may receive from printers and device manufacturers. Launch Distiller from the Start menu in Windows or from the Applications folder on your Macintosh. You'll be able to see a list of all the available presets from this pop-up menu at the Start screen of Distiller. If you've been working with PDF files, you may recognize some of the older standards which have been around for a while. When you choose a preset from this list, a description is displayed at the top of the dialog box here. Choose High Quality Print for files you need to print at high quality on laser and inkjet printers. Choose Press Quality to create a PDF file for a generic printing press workflow. I prefer to use one of the more specific PDFX prepress standards, which I'll describe in a second. Choose Smallest File Size for PDF documents that will be viewed exclusively on the screen. Images in this type of PDF file may appear fuzzy if printed. Choose Standard to create a smaller PDF file that will still print with acceptable quality to laser and inkjet printers. Oversized Pages is a new setting for outputting documents up to 200 inches in height and width. Choose one of the PDF-A standards if you need to create a PDF file for long-term archiving. PDF-A files flatten form data and are stripped of hyperlinks and other interactive content. One standard saves image data in CMYK format, the other in RGB. For all the prepress work that I do, I use one of the PDF-X standards. For low-end printing, I typically save files using the PDF-X1A format. This standard flattens most of your file and converts all image data to CMYK color. For high-end printing, many printers prefer to receive PDF-X3 files. This standard preserves image data in the RGB color space, which usually holds more data and more color. In many cases, the printer will be able to achieve a better color output using the PDF-X3 files. Today, many designers are using drop shadows, transparency, and other photographic quality effects. These effects are normally flattened in PDF-X1A and X3 files. If there's a problem with these effects, the prepress workers won't be able to fix it. Although it doesn't appear in this list, the PDF-X4 standard is available in high-end programs like Adobe InDesign and preserves these various effects so that they remain editable. Before you select any of these prepress standards, check with your printing company to see what standards they recommend. In many cases, they have built their own custom preset, which you'll be able to load into Acrobat before you create the final output. To use one of these presets when you're printing to PDF, simply select it from the list and continue printing. The resulting PDF file will be generated according to these settings. In Distiller, when you select the setting from the default settings pop-up menu, any PDF file generated from Distiller will be created according to these presets. If you want to learn how to edit these presets and even create one of your own, leave this dialog box open and proceed to the next lesson. Each of the PDF standards can be edited to create custom settings for a specific workflow or output device. In the next few lessons in this chapter, you'll learn how to create your own preset. Let's pretend we want to create custom settings optimized for printing to a local laser printer. Start by selecting a preset that's close to the settings you require. In this case, choose High Quality Print. To modify the settings for High Quality Print, select Edit Adobe PDF Settings from the Settings menu. You don't have to worry about making changes and accidentally saving over any of the existing presets. These settings are saved as read-only files, and Acrobat will prompt you to give your new settings a custom name. In the General screen, you'll be able to select specific options for compatibility, object level compression, auto rotation, and binding. For most laser printers, you can leave these settings as is. Here you see the resolution set for 2400 dots per inch. That doesn't mean your printer will output the file at 2400 dpi. It means that the PDF file can support printer resolutions up to that quality. In some cases, this may make the file slightly larger. So let's lower the settings to 600. You can also specify what pages to output, but in most cases, you'll want to select these options at the moment of printing and not save it in the preset. If your printer page is different from 8.5 by 11, go ahead and enter it in these fields. As you can see, Acrobat provides a range of accessible dimensions in each of the fields, up to a maximum of 200 inches. If you're done with your new preset, click the Save As button to give it a unique name. Or if you want to learn how to get most out of your images, leave this dialog box open and proceed to the next lesson. Earlier in this chapter, we learned about the PDF presets and even started to build our own custom preset. In the previous lesson, we reviewed the general settings in the PDF settings dialog box. In this lesson, we'll explore image downsampling and compression and how it affects quality and file size. Next to video and audio, pixel-based images can be the #1 factor in overall PDF file size. It's a simple equation. The larger the image, the higher the resolution, the larger the PDF file becomes. In the Images section, you can see how much downsampling and compression Acrobat will apply to your images. If you're designing your PDF files for print output, you probably think you should max out the resolution in these settings. But you'd be wrong. There's a delicate balance between resolution and output quality. To get a better understanding of how this works, leave Distiller running and switch back to Acrobat and open the file size.pdf from the Chapter 3 folder. Here you see 3 images saved at the same resolution but at 3 different dimensions. The largest one, at 9 inches, is 2.9 megabytes. The medium-sized image is 2/3 of the size of the largest, but its file size is less than half. The smallest image is half the size of the largest one, but clocks in at less than 1/4 of its actual file size. As you can plainly see, the dimensions of an image can make a drastic impact on how much space it takes up on your hard drive, as well as in the PDF file. But just as important as dimensions is the image's quality, referred to as resolution. Resolution is typically expressed in pixels per inch. The higher the value, the better the quality. But more pixels also means larger file sizes. Close size.pdf and open the file resolution.pdf from the Chapter 3 folder. Depending on what type of screen you have, these images may appear larger or smaller than actual size. Notice the ruler segment I inserted on the left side of the file? To see these images at their optimum size, zoom in or out of the page until these marks are exactly 1 inch apart. You may need to type in a custom zoom factor here to accomplish this. Here you see 3 images, identical in every way, but saved at different resolutions. Under each image is a label indicating image quality and file size. As you can see, reducing the resolution dramatically reduces the space it requires on your hard drive. But resolution is important for printing. Displayed at actual size, these images look almost identical on the screen. But if you print this file to a laser or inkjet printer, you'll see that the 75 dpi image appears blurry compared to the others. These quality differences are more apparent if you zoom in to the images. Let's select 400%. Use the grabber hand to reposition the window. Look at an area in the image that has text in it to see the actual quality differences. As you can see, the images with lower resolution have less detail than those with higher resolution. But increasing resolution doesn't always equal increased print quality. For each output device, there's a point at which throwing more resolution at the printer doesn't create better output. Just print this page to your own laser or inkjet printer and you'll see what I mean. On most 300 to 600 dpi laser or inkjet printers, you won't see a difference between the 300 and the 150 ppi images. In fact, the quality on a normal laser printer maxes out at 200 ppi. That means if you use a 300 ppi image, you're basically using images that are 2 to 4 times larger than you need to. Other than increasing the size of your PDF files, higher resolution images also take longer to print. You still need 300 ppi for printing presses, but for laser and inkjet printers, you can typically get by with 150 to 200 ppi resolution. So what does this all mean? For our custom preset for laser printers, let's set the resolution at 200 ppi for color and grayscale images, and 600 ppi for monochrome. Monochrome means pure black and white, and is typically used for pen and ink illustrations or engineering drawings. These types of images must print at the actual resolution of your printer. By changing the resolution in this dialog box, Acrobat will downsample images that are higher than 300 pixels per inch to a maximum of 200 pixels per inch. This resampling reduces the size of your PDF files dramatically, but still provides plenty of resolution for printing to laser and inkjet printers. There are several methods for downsampling. Use the default bicubic method. It takes a little bit longer than the other methods, but achieves a better result. Compression is another factor that can reduce the overall file size. Typically, compression evaluates an image to see how the image information can be simplified or abbreviated. But too much compression can be just as bad as too much downsampling. You can adjust the compression settings in this menu here. Compression is divided into two categories, lossless and lossy. Zip is an example of lossless compression. Lossless compression limits the amount of total reduction in size it can accomplish because it has to do it without losing quality or damaging the image. JPEG is an example of lossy compression. You can select the amount of overall compression applied to the images within the file. The more compression you apply, the smaller the PDF file becomes, but the more likely you will be damaging the quality of the image. For output to laser printers, you can probably use medium to high quality settings and achieve satisfactory results. If you're finished making changes and you're ready to print, click the Save As button to create your new custom standard now. Otherwise, keep the dialog box open and proceed to the next lesson, where we'll explore fonts and font embedding. In the last lesson, we explored image downsampling and compression and how it affects quality and file size. In this lesson, we're continuing to build our custom preset for laser printers by examining fonts and font embedding. Electronic publishing as we know it wouldn't exist without font technology. Early fonts were basically pictures or bitmaps of actual letters and characters, and difficult to work with. They took up a lot of disk space and couldn't be scaled without losing quality. Vector-based fonts were created in the early 80s and revolutionized computers and desktop publishing. But these fonts are also at the heart of the dilemma you face every time you create a PDF file containing formatted text. In most cases, the formatting doesn't exist without the fonts. If it's a font that the recipient of your file doesn't own, when they open your file, the file and the contents will reformat with fonts that are installed. You could send a copy of the font along with the file and have the recipient install it before they open the document, but in most cases, sending a font to another user is a violation of the font licensing agreement, and nobody wants the font police showing up at their door. So instead, Acrobat provides the means for securely embedding the font in the PDF file to preserve the custom design and formatting. You can access these controls by selecting the Fonts category in the PDF Settings dialog box. As you can see, Embed All Fonts was selected by default in this preset. This includes all fonts used in the file and ensures that the document maintains its original appearance. Embed OpenType fonts is grayed out, but can be activated by selecting Acrobat 7 compatibility or higher. This option embeds OpenType fonts and includes advanced OpenType features. The subset option limits the characters actually embedded only to those actually used in the file. This helps to limit the overall size of the file by minimizing the number of characters actually embedded. By keeping the setting at 100%, Acrobat always uses a subset of each font. Embedding can fail for a variety of reasons, including license restrictions as well as incompatible formats. Select what action you want Acrobat to take if and when embedding fails. Ignore, warn and continue, or cancel the job. Typically, I select warn and continue. Embedding fonts increases the size of your PDF files. If you're using a common font like Arial or Times New Roman that you're sure your recipients also have, you can select not to embed those select fonts. To identify a font you don't want embedded, select it in the font list and click Add in the Never Embed window. Like this. To select more than one consecutive font, hold the Shift key down. To select multiple non-consecutive fonts, hold the Control key in Windows or the Command key in the Macintosh. Be sure you add the Roman, italic, bold, and bold italic variants for each font. You can also identify specific fonts you always want embedded in the window in the same way. If a font doesn't appear in the font list at the moment, you can add the name of the font by using this button. This can include fonts that are activated automatically when a file is opened. If you're finished making changes, go ahead and click the Save As button to create your new custom standard. Otherwise, keep this dialog box open and proceed to the next lesson, and we'll explore how Acrobat works with high-end color. In the last lesson, we explored fonts and font embedding, and how it affects quality and file size. In this lesson, we're continuing to build our custom preset for laser printers by examining how Acrobat works with high-end color. In most cases, if you're printing to a local color printer, whatever color comes out of the device is usually good enough. But if you're sending color documents to the printing press, then the color output is more important and matching a specific color more crucial. Color is a dangerous topic because of the very nature of color itself. Each of us perceives color in a slightly different way. But the real trouble happens when you throw color printers and output devices into the mix. The first and most important issue starts with the computer monitor or display. The computer displays color using the RGB, or red, green, and blue color spectrum, similar to the colors you see in the rainbow. Printers use CMYK, or the cyan, magenta, yellow, and black color spectrum. These two systems are derivative of each other, but create color in wholly different ways. The result is that it's very difficult to select a color on the screen and have it print out correctly on paper. To make matters worse, each monitor and printer differ in the way they create color too. If you doubt this, simply put two monitors or computer screens next to each other and display the same color or image on both. It's vital that you start off with known quantities. High-end color workflows require that you calibrate and profile each device used. This includes, but it's not limited to, scanners, computer displays, and all output devices. Even your software should be configured properly. Also, don't expect this to be cheap. It just may not be possible to calibrate and profile your $50 inkjet printer. Setting up a high-end color workflow is outside the scope of this lesson. So the best advice I can give you is to select a good offset or web printing service. These printers usually have their own in-house pre-press departments who are willing and able to help you set up your own color workflows. In fact, they probably have created a custom preset for their own devices, which you'll be able to load into Acrobat and Creative Suite. The color settings in this area of the dialog box deal with how color is handled when the PDF file is created. In some workflows, you'll convert colors to work with specific devices. In others, you will leave the color in a generic workspace so that the printer or output device will do the conversions for you. This is especially helpful when you're proofing to one device but then sending the final output to another. Depending on your final workflow, you may start by selecting one of these presets, which were developed for high-end color output mostly to printing presses. When you select one of these presets, like North American General Purpose 2, Acrobat handles the rest of the color settings for you. If you leave the setting to none, then you're in charge. If you do take over, you should select one of the color management policies here. Select Leave Color Unchanged if you've already calibrated and profiled your output devices and the file was customized to your settings. Select Tag Everything for color management, which makes your entire file device independent. This is handy if you're proofing to one device and then outputting to another. Select Tag Only Images for color management to convert only images to device independence and prevent black text from experiencing any color shifts during output. Select Convert All Colors to sRGB to shift all colors in the file to the sRGB color space. This option is recommended only for files that will be used on screen or low-resolution printers. Select Convert All Colors to CMYK to shift all colors to a specific CMYK color space as specified in the working spaces later in this dialog. For this workflow, let's assume we're going to be printing to a printer in our own office and then sending it out for high-end output later. Choose Tag Everything for color management. Some devices, no matter what you do, will never output the exact color you choose in your file. When this is the case, the document rendering intent should be set to handle these conflicts. Select Preserve if you want the color sent to the output device left as is. This method is typically chosen if you have a calibrated device that's already profiled, or you don't care what the colors look like. Select Perceptual to preserve the visual relationship of colors in the file. The total color range may not be accurate to the original image, but the result will appear more natural to the human eye. This is especially helpful with photographs that have a wide dynamic range, where the color accuracy is not critical. Select Saturation to preserve vivid colors in business graphics like pie and bar charts, where color isn't critical, but you still want bright colors. Choose Absolute Color Metric to maintain color accuracy for as many of the colors in your file as possible. Colors at the extreme ends of the gamut will appear clipped or mapped to the closest equivalent color. Relative Color Metric is almost identical to Absolute Color Metric with one exception. It compares the white point of the document color space to the white point of the output color space, and then shifts all the colors accordingly. This method is the best for preserving color relationships without sacrificing color accuracy. It's also the default method for most of the other presets. Let's go ahead and select it. The settings selected in the Working Spaces menus are specific to your chosen output device. Unless you know the specific settings for your device, it's probably best to leave these at the default settings. When you create color output or separations for specific devices, the PostScript data may contain data for undercolor removal and black generation. Click this box here to preserve this info and pass it to the output device. The same goes for transfer functions, which can apply high-end artistic effects or control the characteristics of specific devices. Select Remove to delete any transfer functions from the file. Select Preserve to pass this data into the PDF so that it can be used or discarded later in the workflow. Or click Apply to make the specific changes to the colors or output. The changes are permanent and the transfer functions are not kept in the file. Go ahead and select Preserve. Finally, select Preserve Halftone information to retain any device-specific settings for halftones or photos. In the Advanced section of this dialog box are settings specific to PostScript and document structuring conventions. For most purposes, the default settings here should be perfectly acceptable. To learn more about these options, check out the Acrobat help file. If your PDF must comply with specific PDF-X or PDF-A reporting or compliance standards, you can select one of those standards from this menu. Be aware that certain requirements in these standards may override earlier choices you made in this dialog box. For a laser printer, we don't need any of these standards, so go ahead and choose none. We're finished making changes to our custom PDF preset. To create the new setting, click the Save As button now. Let's name the file Laser Printer. If you save the file into this folder, the preset will be available immediately to Distiller and to any program where you can create a true Adobe PDF file. Instead, let's save the file to the desktop. It'll be easier to find that way, and then I'll be able to show you how to load a custom preset that you may receive from your service provider or printer. Click Save to finish the preset. To load your new preset, cancel out of the Preset dialog box and choose Add Adobe PDF Settings from the Settings menu. Navigate to the desktop and select the Laser Printer option and click Open. You should see the Laser Printer preset now in your default settings menu. You can share this file with your coworkers or your entire work group. To remove the custom preset, select Remove Adobe PDF Settings from the Settings menu, select the Laser Printer preset, and click Remove. Don't worry about removing any of the standard presets. They're all saved in read-only files and can't be deleted by accident. Creating custom PDF presets is an excellent way to automate the production of high-quality PDF files for all purposes. If you find yourself selecting the same settings on a regular basis, take a few minutes to create custom presets. It will save hours of time in the long run. No matter what type of PDF file you make, certain high-end functions and data are preserved within the file. Spot colors is among that kind of data. Spot colors are specific ink colors chosen in high-end publishing programs like Adobe InDesign and Adobe Illustrator. One of the most well-known ink systems is the Pantone Matching System, otherwise known as PMS. These are high-quality inks that are loaded into a printing press for output. PDF files preserve spot color information that can be then used to create separations in printing plates. Occasionally, problems come up with these colors that must be addressed before a job goes to press. Depending on how severe the problem is, you may need to go back to the original file to fix it. Luckily, Acrobat has some powerful features that can help you fix problems, especially when they involve spot colors. Open the file inkmanager.pdf from the Chapter 3 folder. Depending on how good your screen is, you may see the problem already. If you look carefully, you may see that the two red bands in the business card are slightly different colors. This is a problem that arises frequently in projects that use spot colors or where you import graphics from other programs. The designer accidentally selects the wrong color within the layout, as in this case, or the imported graphic uses the same color but from a different ink library. In the past, you would have to get a new PDF file from the designer, but not anymore. Select View, Tools, Print Production. When the Print Production panel opens, click Ink Manager. The Ink Manager is one of the many high-end prepress tools available to the average user of Acrobat Professional. As you can see, it displays the use of both process and spot color inks in the PDF file. If you click each of the inks, you can see that the dialog provides specific data and controls over how each ink is used. You can select any of the displayed inks and specify its type, density, and trapping sequence. But more importantly, it gives you two critical tools to fix common problems with high-end print jobs. The first problem arises when a project uses two inks when only one is required. To fix this issue, select the color that's incorrect, in this case Pantone 1805, and then choose PMS 200 from the Ink Alias menu. This ingenious option simply moves all the elements using 1805 into the Pantone 200 plate. First problem solved. Another common problem is that projects may be designed with spot colors and then for one reason or another must be printed only in CMYK. In the past, the job would have to go back to the designer to go through possibly a lengthy and difficult conversion to process colors, but no more. If you find yourself facing this situation, your solution is a simple click away. Just select the checkbox here to convert all the spot colors used in the file to their CMYK equivalents. That's it. Just click OK to keep these settings or cancel to return to the file's defaults. The Ink Manager is just one of the tools available to any user of Acrobat to solve these thorny issues.